Okay, how's it going? So since it's the Halloween season, spooky season, scary movie season, I wanted to talk about some horror movies. Some of these aren't really like super horror, like, oh my god, but Halloween themed movies that people should probably watch. Maybe not annually, but put these 10 on your list is what I'm gonna say. There's a couple on here that I can guarantee you've seen, but there's also a couple that it seems like people have just kind of missed. Like especially the one on top here. I've talked to plenty of people who like horror movies and they've just never seen it. So let's get into it. Joyride. This is what I'm referencing. This is my favorite non-Fast and Furious Paul Walker performance slash movie. Steve Zahn is absolutely amazing as his brother in this movie. I just think he's great, period. Some Steve Zahn praise is needed in today's climate. You watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He's amazing as Frank Heffley. You watch this, you watch Saving Silverman. I just always get my money's worth with a Steve Zahn performance. And Paul Walker's just great in this movie. Straight up, great. And what is the girl's name? Lily Sobieski. I always forget that because it's super out there. Czech Republic or something. Russian maybe, who knows. But she's very beautiful. And she's a great lead lady, I guess you'd want to say. But there's like a nice love triangle going on here. It's just back when movies were fucking fun. You don't get this anymore. You don't get a movie coming out where it's like, I need to go to the theater to see that. Maybe for you people there is, but I have not got that urge in a long time to rush to the movies to see. Like Mission Impossible, I made my friend go see it, and we were both just like, why did we do this? After it was like, that was such a letdown. So I think I'm just done wasting money. But I would go see this. Candy cane. That whole scene on the CB where Paul Walker's doing his female voice, it's probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Say, hey, Black Sheep, this is, Candy Cane. just say it, you'll be amazing.
Hey, Black Sheep, this is Candy Cane. I've been looking for you all day.
And the subsequent scenes after that, where you hear the candy cane on the a rusty nail, you hear him on the intercom. It's kind of creepy. I should say the CB freaks me out. And the voice of the villain in this movie is Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs. So if you've seen that and you are afraid of Buffalo Bill, you're gonna get your scares worth. And this one with him doing his creepy voice the entire time. I just think you have to check this out. It's a fun thriller. And there's some comedy in here, so it's not like it's just a horror movie where there's no levity. There's some good comedy. It's fun, thrilling, fast-paced, so just check it out. I think you'd thank me later if you haven't seen it. Final Destination. Now, I'm going to buy the whole collection eventually. I don't like all of them. I'm going to be totally honest with you. 4 and 5, I just don't care. By that point, I stopped caring. But the first 3 in particular, I'm kind of fascinated. Even the third one, it's not good at all, and I'm aware, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I'm aware it's not good. But I'd probably be talking about that one right now if I had it, because it was always my favorite Final Destination. It was the first one I saw. But this is clearly the best. It's got the best cast. To me, the most memorable thing in the whole movie is, Carter, you dick! You'll hear that about 50 times before this thing's through.
Carter, you dick!
That's too
Carter,
bad.
you dick! Carter, you dick!
Devon Sawa, I almost said Devon Siwa. I don't really know where that came from. Devon Sawa, he was kind of on top of the world back at this point. Casper and this and Little Giants. He was in fucking everything in the 90s. I really like him in this. He gives a really good performance. And this changed the way people look at every situation in life. Even simple, mundane tasks like pouring a glass of water. Sometimes you wonder, like, well, what if I break something and the glass shoots up and hits me in the eye, and then I fall, and then it goes deep into my eye, and then I die. Like, it's that type of movie where it makes you wonder, what situation's going to get me? Or if any situation's going to get me? Or am I just going to die of natural causes? It's one of these wild movies that sends you on a ride of emotions where you wonder, oh, am I going to be like this? Like the tanning bed scene in the third one. Dude, imagine that. Like just burning to a crisp in a tanning bed. That one always just freaked me out for absolutely no reason. I'm never going in a tanning bed, so I would never have to worry. But Final Destination. Go check it out. Tell me what you think. The one that started it all, Halloween. Now, this was the slasher that started all slashers, really. We could thank Friday the 13th for kind of pushing the slashers more into the mainstream, but this was the first one that popularized this whole idea of a stalker slash killer going around killing innocent people with almost no motive. He didn't really have a motive in this one. Obviously, with later movies, they gave him reasons to be the way he is, like Lori, his sister, and stuff. But if you just watch this standalone movie, and then you skip and you watch the newest ones, which I wouldn't recommend. The newest trilogy was not very conclusive, and it wasn't very good. But if you do watch it that way, he's just a motiveless killer who's going around murdering people for literally no reason, which gives it a whole other reason to be freaky. I like the idea that he has a reason, but if he doesn't have a reason, then I guess, it makes it more spooky, because he's just some mindless drone going around killing. That's what he is in this. He's just a guy played by like 6 different actors, and he goes around killing people and disappears at the end. But it's a classic. This is a classic. It's grown on me over the years. The first time I saw it, I wasn't huge into this movie. I always enjoyed like the sequels or the remake when I was younger, but this is my favorite one now. Besides the Rob Zombie remake, laugh at me all you want. I don't care. That last scene where Michael disappears, it's truly scary. That's truly a scary moment. And I don't think any movie captured that kind of spookiness. I keep saying that word, but it didn't really capture that vibe ever again. So, just for that, I'm going to mention the first one. Predator 2. I grabbed Predator 2 because Predator 1 gets talked about enough, doesn't it? I love the first Predator, but that's way more of an action movie for me. This does have action, but the whole city nature of where this takes place is so different than the first one that I love it. I've always loved this movie. And Danny Glover's really good in this, even though he's super cheesy. That scene in the cemetery might be the cheesiest scene in film history. But I don't care, because it's still fun, and you get more Predator lore than the first movie ever would have given you. So check this out again, because it's one of those movies that more often than not, when I talk to somebody who's an adult and saw it when they were a kid, they have the same, I didn't like it as much as the first. And then they rewatch it, and it's like, pleasantly surprised. It's a good, fun action. Any movie with Gary Busey in it wins me over. Utah, give me 2.
Utah, give me 2.
Wins me over instantly. So please, just go watch Predator 2. Obviously watch the first one as well, but that's like a fun double feature. The first 2 Predators, they're not super connected in any way, but it's still fun to go from the jungle to Los Angeles. They predicted LA pretty good for what it's going to be like in the future, didn't they? The Lost Boys. Now, this is a special movie just for me, period. It's the horror movie of my house. Growing up, this was my dad's favorite movie. This was my sister's favorite horror movie. This was my favorite movie to watch with them. So I always just loved it for that reason to begin with. And then I grew up, probably went for like 10 years without watching this movie. And I remember bringing this to a buddy's house, and we had some drinks, and we were laughing and having such a good time with this movie. It's fun. It's a fun movie. And there's some good horror to be had here. It's not all about the cheesy, campy, fun nature of it. The acting's really good. The 2 Coreys did a great job. I always loved Corey Haim. He was always hilarious in this movie. Bathtub scene's hilarious.
I ain't got a home. I've got a voice.
Michael was just awesome. I always loved Michael as a character. Who doesn't want to be as cool as him? And Kiefer Sutherland gives just a terrifying, terrifying performance.
My blood is in your veins. Soul is mine.
As David. So you get everything you need in a 1980s horror movie. You get that 80s vibe, especially of the California 80s vibe, with horror mixed in with a little love, and a pretty good ending where it gives you a good laugh, but at the same time, I always wondered, because the sequel came out like a year or 2 after I saw this for the first time. I think it was like 2008. I always wondered, are we getting a sequel? Will we ever get more to this story? And we did, and they were terrible, but just what could have been. the original Alien. Now, I know I mentioned this in my top 10 horror movies of all time list. There's going to be a couple in here. I'm pretty sure that I did. I'm pretty sure Halloween was in that list. I don't care. I could talk about these movies over and over. This is the standard that Alien has been held up to for 50 years, and they will never match this. They will never get close to this. It's kind of unfortunate because you can tell they think they're gonna. You know, like Alien Romulus, for some reason, fooled a lot of people into liking it. It was fucking awful. Awful. I hate using those words when it comes to movies because so many people worked on it. So many people put their ideas there, and I hated everything about it. It reminded me of Prey, the newest Predator movie. It was just woman power 101 with no real story of any kind worth watching. It was just stuff we've seen 100 times already, and I'm over it. I'm over the nostalgia. She's wearing Ripley's shoes. She's using the same gun. Like, I don't care. But that's how good this movie was, that 50 years later, we're still trying to show these scenes all over again for a new audience. And you remember this? Do you remember this? So, you know it did something right when not only is it held a franchise together for 50 years, but it's still the only truly good Alien movie. Aliens is not really an Alien movie. Sure, it's an Alien sequel. Does it feel anything like this? No. And that's why a lot of people like it more, because they have no brain, and they like the action. They're shooting aliens, man. When it's just a typical James Cameron woman power fest. And listen, as time's gone on, let me just say James Cameron has gone from one of my favorite directors to probably one of my least favorite. Every one of his movies is the same. He has a hard-on for making women look unrealistically stronger than they are. I don't get it. I don't know if he's like a complete cuck. He's been married 5 times, so it's very possible. But that aside, even he didn't bother trying to replicate this because he knew he had no shot of getting close. So let me just change genres altogether. This is the peak of horror when it comes to Alien movies, period. It's got the dread. It's got the fun scenes that you want to go back and watch, but not fun in the way, like, oh, it's fun. I was laughing. Fun, like, holy shit, I love watching this alien fucking just slaughter these people. I'm getting just so heated right now thinking about that Alien sequel, fucking Alien Ramen. It's making me so mad. It beat for beat basically tried to remake this movie and didn't get close. They never will get close. They need to just stop making alien-related stuff. Maybe come touch it again in 30 years when you have a new idea. But until then, just fuck off, because you're never beating that movie. Especially the chest burster scene. It's never getting better than that. Ghostbusters 84. Now again, loosely a horror movie. But I was watching this at 4 or 5 years old. This was one of the first horror movies that I was really like obsessed with. This is one of the first franchises that I was truly obsessed with, where I wanted to collect everything related. I never really got around to it because Ghostbusters at that time was niche. They weren't really making die casts in 2006 or 7 for Ghostbusters. They just weren't. There weren't that many costumes they made. There weren't that many toys. So the one year I had my parents and my uncle help me make a Ghostbusters costume, and that was what I went to school in, was with my Proton pack and my Venkman badge. So I was obsessed. I loved Ghostbusters, and I still think this is obviously the best one. And to me, there's only 2 canon films. I know that everybody just will try to defend these new movies. Afterlife was fun, and just fuck off. Like, no one cares about these new movies anymore. Movies have lost their luster. Hence why I've stopped caring, basically, and my uploads have slowed down, because even I care a lot less, just period. But let's talk about the stuff that makes me happy. Bill Murray gives one of my favorite performances in comedy history in this movie. He's so dry, so witty.
Have you or any member of your family ever been diagnosed schizophrenic, mentally incompetent?
My uncle thought he was St. Jerome.
I'd call that a big yes.
I love him. Dan Aykroyd with his amazing ideas. This script wouldn't have been anything without him. Harold Ramis wrote probably most of the dialogue because he's got that snappy, witty dialogue. But Dan Aykroyd was the one who was really invested in this lore of ghosts and paranormal. So he had all these ideas laid out, and all of that interdimensional stuff with Gozer, all that was him. So gotta love Dan Aykroyd, man. He Canadian icon. He doesn't live here, but Canadian when convenient. Love this movie. Ghostbusters 2 should get a little bit of a nod because Gozer. Not Gozer, because of Vigo the Carpathian. Not Gozer, you dummy. Vigo the Carpathian. I always loved in Vigo.
Happy New Year! Here's Vigo!
Gotta love Janusz. Freddy vs. Jason. Now, man, where do I begin? Because I love this movie, and I always unabashedly have loved this movie. I think this is the very copy I've had since high school. I was like 14 years old, probably, in my grade 9 year. Might have even been grade 8. And I remember I bought this with my own money. I went to we had a movie store down the street, and I bought this for myself. No one else cared about these types of movies in my house, really. I was the only slasher fan, so I went on a whole binge where I watched all the Friday the 13th, and Freddy vs. Jason was always one of my favorites, and I had to own it on Blu-ray. So I went out and bought it, and I still own this copy. I own the Scream Factory version up there as well, which it looks crisp. You got to see this movie, though. If you're a horror fan, slasher fan, it's at the top of your list, I'm sure, just because it gives you what you expected. You get these two fighting for the second half of this movie, basically.
Not my arm!
That's what you came here for. Look at the title, Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know what people came into this expecting. You got people who are like, stupid story. I'm sorry, you came to this for the story? Are you kidding me? Like, this is not what you come to these types of movies for. What Friday the 13th movie did you go to for the story? Be honest. None of them. You went to see the hot women, the kills, and Jason Voorhees. And vice versa with dumb Freddy Krueger. You go to watch his movies because he's like a spooky, scary... I've said it 5 times now, guys. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. You go to his movies because he's a creepy, fun, enticing character. That's what you're there for. You're not going like, oh, I need to see Freddy do some crazy, amazing stuff with an amazing story. It does not matter. Just make the kills interesting and make him funny, and Freddy Krueger's Freddy Krueger. So this is everything I ever wanted shoved into a movie. The only real downside is it gets a little dumb. Because Freddy, he is technically human when he comes out of the dream world, and he is a fucking mess by the end of this fight. He is missing an arm, been stabbed 100 times, bleeding out of every single hole in his body. Yet he still technically kind of wins at the start of it all. Like, when they flop into the water, you think that he's going to be the one. And then Jason comes out and kills him, obviously. And then you see him carrying his head out at the end with the little wink. But, yeah, I don't know. Freddy kind of gets too many hits in for my liking, but I had to make it somewhat even, I guess. Child's Play, the original. I've never liked this cover, especially because the other covers have this ominous black background. I'm sure I could find another one with a black back. I don't care that much, though, but it doesn't look spooky enough. It almost looks like Chucky's gonna, I don't know, play a guitar or something. He doesn't look like this is a horror movie cover. It looks like an album cover. But this is the prototype for this franchise, Like, if you're going to watch any of them, you got to watch the first. Don't watch any of the... Well, watch the second one, too. But the first one, this is the peak. It's the scariest. I think that this is still probably the best Chucky performance that there is. I love him in Child's Play, too. But they start to get carried away like they do with the Freddy movies, where it becomes more about the comedy than anything. This one, there's still that fine line where he's creepy as fuck, especially because he's taking advantage of a little boy, and still funny in some scenes, but he's pretty creepy in this movie, and especially when he's not dying at the end, you just keep thinking, oh, they finally killed... He's back! Every time.
Come on, look, it's as dead as they come, it's dead.
And it happens like 3 times where you think he's dead and he comes back. It almost gets to the point where it's a bit ridiculous, but you appreciate it for the ridiculousness. I just love the little things, like when his babysitter dies, Andy's babysitter dies, and they're blaming him because they just don't understand. They're like, a doll could not have pushed the babysitter out of this fucking apartment. You did it, Andy. But he didn't. He was never crazy. He always looked crazy, ends up in the foster care system in the second one, and they think he's crazy. It was never crazy. It's I would hate to be Andy Berkeley. That would suck. I couldn't just show the first because I don't own the first one by itself, but Scream. I cannot go Halloween time without Scream. And I went the whole first 20 years of my life without seeing these movies. I can't explain it, but I'd say pre-2021 or 2. Wasn't that big. Like, I like movies. I always thought I was a movie guy until I started watching movies every day. And I realized I have missed out on so many big movies. And this was one of those big movies, Scream, that I just totally missed out on. I grew up on Friday the 13th. I grew up on Halloween. I grew up on Nightmare on Elm Street, but I just never watched these movies. So I binged them. The first 3 in particular, because to me after that, the quality varies, and yeah. But the first 3, even then the quality varies. It's still fun, though. It's a good triple feature. I did it with my girlfriend over about a week or 2. We watched the first 4, and I had a fucking good time. These movies are fun. I just love Dewey as a character. Excuse me. I could watch Dewey do whatever. I could watch him just go get ice cream or something stupid. He's always entertaining. Sydney has been through more than anybody should ever have to be through. Especially by the 4th one. You can just tell when they find the knife in her trunk. She's like, this is a joke, right? This is a joke, right? Please be a joke. She's just been through too much to this point. And poor Sydney, she always just gets caught up in these stories of people trying to, have their moment. Like the guy in the second one, Timothy Olyphant's like, I'll just blame the movies. You didn't think that one through. You really did not think, so what, you're going to just blame movies for being a murderer? Good luck with that, buddy. That's what I mean. The first one's amazing, and the quality just kind of slowly. So it's good they ended on a 3rd one where it just got really dumb. Like Roman was her long lost brother all along. It's stupid, and but fun, stupid, soap opera level stupid, where it's funny and entertaining, and you laugh but have a good time. The first Scream, masterpiece for me. I have it on every Halloween. I'm going to watch it again probably around Halloween. I've seen it 100 times at this point. At least twice a year I watch it. I just love the subversion of expectations. There's not many horror movies before this where they had the little lead up of a leading lady like Drew Barrymore, who you think is going to be the lady of the movie, and then she just dies. It's kind of like Psycho. They don't have her in the movie as long as in Psycho, but you're obviously thinking, well, Drew Barrymore's in this. She's going to be the main woman, right? No. Slaughtered. Not just slaughtered, but, like, terribly slaughtered in the first scene. So it really does something different, and I love Scream for that. And I love Stu. If you watch the first Scream and you don't love Stu, I don't really understand what you're looking for in a movie.
Oh, you mean after you branded him the Candyman? No, his heart's broken. But on behalf of the entire student body, we all say thank you! I'll be right back!
So that is that. Go watch those 10 horror movies if you haven't already. But even if you have, give some of those a rewatch. Tell me what you think. I'd be curious to chat that out. I don't know what the next video is going to be, but I'm kind of at a standstill with ideas. I'd like to do something, but we'll just have to plan it out. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.